So I just wanted to go over real quick, not this one, that one's too expensive. This one. You want to run your bass guitar and your normal guitar through one pedal. This pedal particularly because it has two inputs, left and right. Now, in your patch design, you can't help it, but you're going to have multiple lanes. That's because of these divider blocks. It takes the signal and splits it so that you could do with one guitar's your dirty and your clean effects chains. But what if you want to use two guitars? Well, there's left and right. Left is your upper. Left is the top one when you divide these guitars, and R, the mono input, is the bottom one. So there's this one. It's going to be this lower line here, but this only takes this only applies if you have your divider block as the very first thingamajig here, because now it split our input here. That's what we divided. So you've got input 1 and 2 here, and only you can see that this line is highlighted. This is this. So you could have your bass player and your guitar player go through these separate chains and go through separate outputs, but they couldn't play together at the same time because this isn't being processed. It's muted. So when you go into here, you could switch it from A to B, but you want both at the same time. So in order to do that, you got to go into not this, but in mode you go to dual. And dual, that means one guitar, a stereo guitar, is going through both effects at the same time. You don't want that either. You want dual selector. Now you've got separate inputs going through their separate lines here. Now, what about that's for the inputs, but what about the outputs? The outputs, you've got your main right and left, and you've got your sends, 1 and 2. So these could be your auxiliary outputs, or your, as it's called, sub outputs. So let's say you've got your bass player, and he's playing something here, and you've got your guitar guy, and he's playing something here. In reality, these are a little phrase that I played into these pedals on looper. The output of these two pedals are going into the input of here. From the boss guitar, from the bass pedals, it's this one, and then the regular ME90 for guitar, it's this one. The main outputs are coming out of here and going into here, and then the sub outputs here are going into here. So when we turn up the volume on for the main output, you hear the guitar, and here you don't hear nothing. Oh my goodness, what happened? Well, something terrible has happened. It's because right now your two sends here are expecting a return. So you've got to go into the settings. You can go into menu, and on this screen you can do hardware settings and go to other, and see these are set to send, so you can turn the corresponding knob to sub out. And now they're working as outputs. That's great. So you've got these after the divider here. You've got this line for bass. You can have a bass amp here and go into the sub outputs here, and off it goes. And then for the guitar, you can pick your guitar amp and go into the master outputs here. Okay, here's the problem. Bass is coming through the sub outputs just like we want it to, but the master outputs is going out from the here into here. What do you hear? I'm hearing the bass and the guitar. So I think what's happening here is that whatever is coming out of the sub output is also being outputted through the master output. So that's no good, because now we've got our bass and guitar combined again, and can't have that because various reasons. So I told you, I showed you how to change it from here. Now let's go to the software and change it here. So you click the menu button here, and there's a bunch of settings here. You go to the hardware settings, and you go to this. I changed it to sub out, but really it should be this last option, sub out aux mute. And now press OK. And now let's see what happens when I put up the volume. Last time it was bass and guitar. Now it's just guitar, and this is the main outputs. This is the sub outputs. Here's the bass. Turn up and down the gain. That's pretty good. Bass player, shut up. Now he's a goner. Then guitar man. I can hear whatever crappy chords he's playing here in his amp here. Hey. You shut up too. Anyways, that's how you do it. So I hope you found this useful. I was struggling with this for an entire day trying to figure it out. But yeah, it was because I had it on sub out and I couldn't get them to be separate, the outputs. So it's this setting here, and that should do it. Thanks everybody. Goodbye.